Hello, Sandman Nation. We are back, and it is a busy week. We just celebrated Mother's Day. The NBA and NHL playoffs are in full gear. Golf second major, boys. The PGA Championship is this coming weekend, and the NFL schedules are released tonight in full. So a lot of awesome and exciting stuff. Can't wait to talk about it. So let's get into it because it is time to enter Sandman Sports. As always, I'm here with my freaking awesome co-host, Mr. Pat Klatt. I got to be honest with our listeners. Pat's a little depressed today. He's very disappointed he wasn't named the first American Pope. But he still can't believe he got to experience Skyline Chili for the first time last week, so it's kind of a wash, right? Then there's the legend himself, the Sandman, Mr. Bill Sanders. Bill's also a little disappointed today because his beloved Seattle Mariners streak of winning 9 consecutive series was stopped over the weekend when the Blue Jays swept them. But Bill, I tried to give a little love to your Mariners in this week's 6-pack, so hopefully that reduces the sting a little bit and they can get back on track here soon. And then I think we're all a little disappointed that we don't get Mike Paston back today, right, guys? Mike was a freaking great guest host last week. He joined for our Nailed It celebration episode, and he was freaking awesome. We got a lot of good feedback on him, and we will definitely be bringing him back. We also have a few other guest hosts that we are efforting, and I think we'll see a few more fourth co-hosts here occasionally during the summer months. So stay tuned. All right, boys. Well, let's get into it. Before we do, though, let's tell everyone where our listeners can find us. You can find us everywhere, just like missed three-pointers by the Boston Celtics. Holy moly, did you guys see that they missed a record 45 three-pointers in game 1? And then, not to be outdone, they missed another 30 in game 2. That is 75 missed three-pointers in 2 games. That is a lot of bad shots. But you know who never misses shots? Sandman Sports. So head on over to our website at entersandmansports.com. Check us out daily. We drop new content all the time. Articles, videos, and much, much more. This week alone, we've added coverage on the NBA, Major League Baseball, Bierman's 6-pack, Sandman's golf crushing fades, these podcasts, and we just published Tyler Hedman's way too early ranking of the top 25 in college football, which is already getting a ton of views. So check it out. See if your team made the grade. You can also follow us at Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all at Enter Sandman Sports. I've mentioned the last few weeks, we continue to hire new writers and contributors. So if you know a college journalism student looking for some intern work or some experience, or just someone who loves sports and is good at writing, let us know. We will be announcing a few new additions to the Sandman Sports team here shortly, and that is very exciting as we continue to grow. All right, boys, so let's get into the opening. I was doing a little late night scrolling the other night, and I stumbled on an article where I was reminded of the infamous 10-cent beer night back in Cleveland in 1974. Just a beautiful, drunken disaster that ended with fans storming the field and the game being called off. And yes, okay, maybe that one went a little too far, but it got me thinking, why don't we do stuff like that anymore, guys? I get it. The world changes, sports change, rules evolve, new strategies emerge, safety improves, society in general changes, and that all makes sense. But if I'm being honest, not all of it's better as a sports fan. Some things from the old days were just flat out more fun, more wild, more authentic, and just frickin' plain better. Damn it, I missed some of it. So for this week's opening segment, here's the question we're going to explore. If you could bring back things from the sports world of the past, rules, traditions, uniforms, a vibe, anything really at all, what would it be? This can be serious stuff. It can be absurd, just a full-on trip down memory lane. Some examples could include things like bringing back taller baseball mounds, or actually being allowed to hit the freaking quarterback, or tearaway jerseys, short shorts, or maybe you miss stickum on receivers' hands. Frankly, there's so much great stuff from the past that could be brought back. The list is truly endless. So let's open up the time capsule. What did sports used to do better, and what would you bring back if you could? Pat Klett, I'm kicking it over to you.
Well,
Start us off strong,
had people
brother.
parking their Buicks in the end zone area, or the field goal posts becoming a factor on crossing routes. When they used to put the field goal posts in the field of play.
Dude, can you believe they used to have those?
Crazy.
Yeah. That it changes the way, it definitely would
It's
change
just
the
football
way
in
the
general,
game is
being
played.
able to hit the
I like.
quarterback, defenseless receivers getting blown up. Always fun. End of basketball games without a million challenges and video reviews. Those were the days. Cigarette ads in the stadiums. NFL coaches dressed up in full suit and tie.
Or
Well,
cigarettes.
that was the other one I was going to say.
Or
the
chewing
baseball
tobacco with
managers
the
who used to
baseball
smoke
guy.
cigarettes in the dugouts. But mainly, I just long for the days of reasonable ticket prices. We used to go to the lower bowl in the early '90s to the North Star hockey games for $10. Upper deck at Twins games were $3 to $5. I mean, inflation hit certain sectors a little harder, I guess. But the strain it puts on the working man is just a bitch. I also like the days of players had to have like real 9-to-5 jobs because they weren't paid like Saudi princes. A lot of these players would be insurance salesmen in the off season, and now they're just spoiled little princesses. So yeah, and then the managers smoking cigarettes in the dugout. I think that was always classic. Like Jim Leyland or Sparky Anderson just sparking one. Yeah. So that's what I miss. Yep.
Ripping darts.
How about you, Bill?
Yeah, I my mind instantly went to, we live in this world of analytics now, and there's a lot about baseball and other sports that I miss. Like, how about we just lay down a sacrifice bunt? How about we just push a runner over, especially in extra innings? It makes no sense to me when they're now starting with the goofy guy on second rule that teams don't at least bunt him over, make the pitcher make a decision. Are we going to put a guy on first and try to set up a double play? Or that strategy element seems to be gone in large part because of analytics. And, sure, the numbers don't lie, I suppose, but especially when you're a fan of a team like the Mariners that over the past few years, they've struggled to score runs. And then we watch them not ever try to manufacture something, like actually put a guy in motion, try to steal a bag, hit and run. And I don't think it's totally ironic that the Mariners are having a lot more success this year. Yes, they're scoring a lot more runs, but it's also because Dan Wilson's just putting the game in motion. So that one was one that I just, when was the last time you saw a suicide squeeze? Or even hit and runs or things like that. It's just parts of baseball that I miss and I like. I'm going to talk about uniforms again, Pat. I'm going to do it. But the nostalgia of the throwbacks just have me wishing that we wouldn't get so fancy with some of the uniform combinations and all the goofy stuff. And again, yes, I blame Oregon, Phil Knight, and Nike for just starting this whole trend. Look at the colleges that are the ultimate powerhouses, right? Michigan, Ohio State, Alabama, Penn State. They don't mess around with all that stupid stuff. Now, maybe they do every great now and then, but it's not every single week that they have to make some social post on Tuesday about here's the uniform we're wearing with the goofy duck stuff and colors and all that nonsense. Just give me the old school throwback uniforms and helmets. I mean, we've talked about this a bunch on the pod, but I absolutely love the Seahawks old logo and colors and all that. So give me some more of that old time uniform stuff. It all just takes me right back to my youth. The last one, and I'll kick it over to Bierman, grass surfaces. Just bring back grass. And I understand, obviously, you're playing in climates that may not support it if you've got these domed roofs or whatever it is. There's a lot of challenges, way more expensive, but there's just something awesome about seeing the guys just covered in mud and stains from the grass that they're playing on in football, for example. And the AstroTurf, and I think Pat even mentioned this a couple of pods ago, used to just bang the ball down on the ground, leg out all the hits when he was playing in baseball. But give me that grass infield, like let's make it a little harder than just shooting one through the Kingdome turf into right field. So those were just a few of mine. How about you, Eric?
All right, guys. Well, get a drink, get comfortable, get some popcorn, because I have a ton of things that I want to frickin' bring back from the world of sports in decades past. So I'll start with dress. I absolutely loved it when coaches wore nice suits and actually dressed to the nines. No hoodies and t-shirts for this guy. Come on. Respect the game, dress the part, coaches. Get that suit, get that tie, get some nice clothes back on, get on that sideline. All right, so now I am going to go by sport, and I have a lot for baseball. So I'm going to start with bullpen cars. Why did we stop this? Watching relievers roll in like royalty in tiny go-kart type vehicles, that was freaking awesome to watch. Please bring back the bullpen car. Pitchers hitting in both leagues. Yes, most of them were automatic outs, but so what? Watching pitchers hit, it's quirky, it's strategic, actually. We just have everybody's just a hitter, and I hate it. The DH is stupid. So, all right, this one might be controversial, but please, for the love of God, let's go back to when there was no interleague play. There was something so special about seeing the AL and NL only play in the All-Star game and the World Series. I miss that. Now we get the freaking Yankees and Pirates playing 6 times a year, and no one cares. Nobody cares anymore. I don't know. I loved it. I would love to have the AL and NL be just in October. All right. I want to bring back 2 off-field just staples from the 70s and the 80s. I'm going to start with, do you guys remember Morgana, the Kissing Bandit?
I was going to say her. I
couldn't
remember her name.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
That's right. Morgana.
Dude, she was, for listeners who may not know, check her out. She was this voluptuous, scantily clad woman who would come onto the baseball diamond and just start kissing the players. Just random game, walk out there, run out there usually. Her body parts kind of juggling, or kind of moving along as she's running. There's really nothing more 70s and 80s than this chick running out there and kissing players. Please bring back Morgana, or maybe her granddaughter, but bring back some version of this woman. Fun fact about Morgana that I didn't know until I researched a little bit. Morgana started in 1969 in Cincinnati.
Oh, wow.
When she rushed the field to kiss Pete Rose, and he got pissed. But the next day he apologized. He bought her flowers, and the Cincinnati sports writer came up with the Kissing Bandit nickname, and it stuck. So There you go. And along those same lines, guys, let's bring back the San Diego Chicken. This is the gold standard of mascots. He was everywhere. He was unhinged. He made sports so much fun. I apparently he still makes occasional appearances, and the guy who originated him, I think, is Ted Gianalois, something like that. But that guy's got to be pretty old now. So pass it on to a younger guy, John Alois. Yeah, let's keep the chicken going for years to come. I love the chicken. So, all right, Major League Baseball double headers on a regular basis. I used to love these as a kid. 2 games, 1 ticket, more off days throughout the long season for the players. I don't know why we stopped doing these. I really don't. All right, guys, I'm gonna lobby to bring back a whole freaking team. Bring back the Montreal Expos. I mean, they were weird, colorful, totally unique. I love their freaking hats. Their hat is still one of my favorite hats of all time. They played in a city that spoke more French than English and pretty much can't stand all of us Americans. Gary Carter, Tim Raines, Andre Dawson, Vlad, Tim Wallach, Pedro. I could go on and on. Bring back the Expos to Montreal and let's revisit the good old days. This one, more manager umpire nose-to-nose yelling matches. I mean, God, do you guys remember Earl Weaver, Lou Piniella, Bobby Cox? I loved seeing those yelling matches when you knew punches could be thrown at any minute. Then the umpire would gesture, the manager was being thrown out. And the best part was usually when the manager would sprint out there from the dugout and just stop right in front of the guy's face and they'd start screaming. Just added to the intensity. I know occasionally we'll still see this, but it seems a lot less often. So come on, guys, lose your tempers a lot more, please. I want two shows brought back. I want This Week in Baseball by Mel Allen and The Wide World of
How
Sports
about
by
that?
Jim McKay. Just two classics. I loved both of those shows as a kid and would love to have those brought back. Okay, I'm going to move on to football, both pro and college. The Monday Night Football opening song of Hank Williams Jr. and All My Rowdy Friends. I freaking love that song. Love the opening. It always got me fired up for Monday Night Football. Monday Night Football hasn't been the same since they ditched Hank. So bring him back. Bring back that song. Bring back fun touchdown celebrations. Come on. Let the guys dance. Let them use props. Good Lord. Let them have fun. It isn't hurting anyone. I don't give a shit if it makes the losing team feel bad. Here's an idea. Don't let them score. And I'm not talking about taunting. I'm not. I just talking about some fun celebrations. I want my TO. I want his Sharpie. Come on, guys. The fullback being an integral part of the offense. Daryl Moose Johnson, Mike Allstott, Matt Suey, the forgotten warriors of football. These dudes open holes, caught passes, trucked linebackers just because they could. Football is not the same without those guys. I want New Year's Day college football games back. I mean, back in the day, New Year's Day was wall-to-wall football. You'd wake up 11 a.m., noon. They would start. They wouldn't end till midnight. 4 games on at any one time. You didn't leave the couch. The games actually mattered. Now, I think you got 3 or 4 games this past New Year's Day. Seriously, I mean, they're just scattered all across different days. Even when you're watching them, half the stars aren't playing, which is a whole nother issue. But it all feels watered down, and I hate it. Here's one, guys. Let's bring back single bar kicker face masks. Nothing screamed kicker nerdness like that old school single bar helmet. It looked ridiculous. And you know what? That was the point. Please bring it back. Kickers should always look stupid. All right, here's one that I would like the Cowboys being relevant, actually, to come back. And Mike Paston is going to like this one. It's been almost 30 years since they mattered in January. Can we please get something from America's team, or at least then have them stop acting like they actually matter anymore? 15-minute overtime sessions. I hate 10 minutes. Why is it 10 minutes? Like, there's so many ties, or there's teams playing for ties. Like 10 minutes goes by really fast. If you're going to do overtime, just move it back up to 15 minutes, please. Couple general sports ones, and then I'm done. I would like boxing to matter being brought back. I mean, when we were kids, heavyweight bouts used to just stop the world. Tyson Holyfield, Foreman Ali. I mean, it was a big deal. My dad loved boxing, and we would watch a lot of boxing matches, and it just doesn't matter anymore. Neither does the Indy 500. This used to be such a big deal on Memorial Day weekend. I couldn't name one racer that's in it this year, unfortunately. So would love for that to be brought back. And then last one, do you guys remember? So kind of in the vein of 10 Cent Beer Night, Disco Demolition Night. Do you guys remember that? That was 1979. It was in Chicago. It was basically also a big riot because everybody brought their records, their disco records, and just it became a big riot. I would like a rap demolition night. I think if we could do that, that would be freaking amazing. All right, guys, that's all I got. But that felt good to get it off my chest. Is there any chance any of that shit gets brought back ever?
Yeah.
I think I want Morgana being brought back more than anything.
Yeah, maybe updated Morgana. Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Morgana.
Yeah.
Maybe one that looks like Sydney Sweeney.
Pat's fave. Yeah. One that none of us mentioned either is let's just get all the professional golfers back on one tour.
Yo, yeah, no shit. That's a great one. Yeah.
Yeah. Be nice.
All right, that was fun. Maybe someday some of this will come back. We'll keep our fingers crossed. All right, guys, let's get into it all now. Last week, we introduced a brand new segment, guys, called Be My Guest, and it was very well received. So we'll keep that in, and we'll get to that in just a moment. Then we'll get into our hot takes, then on to our stone cold locks for this week's PGA Championship. And then we'll wrap up with a fun top 5, which will give some love to the best TV moms of all time. And of course, we'll have plenty of fun and shenanigans along the way, including Pat sharing his all-time favorite summer job at SeaWorld, where he claims he briefly worked as Shamu's life coach. All right, boys, it is time to get into our brand new segment where you guys try to guess some sort of sports list and are usually very, very wrong. But let's see if you guys have better luck this week. I actually think this one is going to be a little bit easier for you guys, but we'll see. So as we approach this year's NBA Finals, the NBA and Finals is going to be this week's theme. So here we go. There are 10 teams that have never won an NBA championship. So I'm going to ask you to try to name those 10. And if you do, you get 1 point. But of those, there are 5 that have never even made an NBA Finals. If you name one of those, you get 2 points and my everlasting admiration. All right, so we're going to let Pat go first this week since Bill went first last week. All right, so again, Pat, 10 teams to never win the NBA championship, and 5 of those have never made the NBA Finals. Who you got?
Made it. Yeah.
There you go.
That's a layup.
I figured you'd get that one. The Minnesota Timberwolves, and he gets 2 points for that because they never have even made the finals. It could change this year, though. Could change this year. So, all right, Bill, who you got?
Charlotte Hornets.
The Charlotte Hornets is correct. They have also never made the NBA Finals. So look at you guys. See, I told you.
I got one right.
This one, I told you. This one's a little bit easier. I had to take it easy on you guys. The last couple were tough. Last 2 weeks. All right. So, all right, Pat, who you got now?
They have been to a final, but they didn't win. I can say one of those, right? Orlando. Yeah, Orlando. I'll take the 1
you can if you want 1 point. Yeah.
Orlando Magic.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Orlando Magic is correct. Yeah. All right. Good job. All right, Bill.
I know this is a more recent team given relocations and everything, but let's say the New Orleans Pelicans.
Yeah.
Good job. All right. Yeah. So you guys have 3 of the 5 so far of those. And Bill's got 4 points. Pat's got 3. All right. Keep it going. It's going to get a little tougher.
Yeah.
As you whittle these down, it's going to get a little tougher.
Is did they
There's one on here I wouldn't have guessed. I thought I could have swore this team has won one, actually.
Did the Atlanta Hawks win with Elijah on? No. The Hawks. I'll guess the Hawks. They did win one?
Yeah, no, they won one a long time ago. Yeah, they won one with, I think Lenny Wilkins was their coach or maybe he was a player. It was like in the 70s. Yeah.
How about the Sacramento Kings?
No, they won one.
The Kansas City?
Probably as the Cincinnati Royals, probably.
Or Cincinnati Royals, okay.
Or maybe even the Syracuse Nationals, I think they started.
Okay.
Their franchise has definitely won one, that I know.
Phoenix?
Okay. Not in Sacramento.
I wasn't, yeah, that's what
Phoenix Suns?
Who?
Yeah.
Phoenix Suns is correct in terms of they've made it but never won. Yeah. Yeah. During the Hornacek years, I think Hornacek was on a team. Maybe Tom Chambers might have been on one of those teams. Oh yeah, Dan Marley.
Yeah. I mean Barkley, right? They always give him crap for never getting it done. Okay, I think my other guess is similar. Well, I'll say the Utah Jazz.
Yes, that is. I think it's very similar to the Phoenix Suns. Yeah, they've been there, and never made it. You're correct.
Philadelphia 76ers?
All right.
They won one?
No, they won.
Really?
They won a few. I know 1983.
Right?
1983, they won one with Mo Cheeks and Daryl Dawkins, I think, played for that. Dr. J actually was on that team.
Yeah, Dr. J.
Yeah, 83, I know they won. That might be the only one, but I feel like they
I know.
I just thought of one easy, too, that I'm just like, oh, my God.
Yeah.
The Clippers.
Yes, and that's one so they've never even been in one. I could have swore they'd been in NBA Finals. I knew they didn't
They've
win,
actually been
but
decent the last
yeah.
decade and a half, maybe, or something.
All right, so you guys have 4 of the 5 that have never made the NBA Finals. You got 1 more who've never made it, and 2 more that have made it but never won.
I know they've been to a finals.
Yeah,
did they win that year?
They're not on this list. So, did they win? They must have won.
I think they won with.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Recently.
With Bosch?
Yeah.
With
Bosch?
Vince Carter?
Did Toronto Raptors... I mean, yeah, let's see. They won in 2019.
Good. I was paying attention.
Okay, I was going to say it was very small. They had...
but we all were like...
Pascal Siakam was there.
Yeah.
No,
Go ahead if you got another one, Pat. So Eric can update us. We're missing one of the 5.
You're missing one that has never made the NBA Finals. And I would say they're relatively new organization. And then
because I was going to say the Thunder, but are we saying they're the Sonics?
They're very similar. Yeah, we're saying they're Sonics.
We said Charlotte.
Said Charlotte.
This is a very similar team to the Thunder. Like, I think of this team in the same breath.
Memphis?
Yeah, the Memphis
Grizzlies. Yeah.
So they've never made the NBA Finals. So you got those 2. And then, all right, of the ones that have made it but have never won, one of them is still alive. So this year. So that's a hint.
We said
okay, we already said Timberwolves.
Indiana. Is it
It's
Indiana
not the
Pacers?
Knicks. It's not the Celtics. It's not
Indiana Pacers.
Oh,
it's
Indiana Pacers.
They made it last year.
So they've made it, but have never won. And then the last one, this team is in a giant market, and yet I never think of this team. Might be the least thought about NBA team across the country.
Giant market.
I mean, Sacramento Kings might be the least about, but this team, I feel like nobody talks or thinks about this team.
The Brooklyn Nets.
The Nets.
The Brooklyn Nets.
Nice call. Yeah.
I mean, I never hear anybody talk about the Brooklyn Nets. So.
Yeah, because they suck every year.
Yeah, exactly. They suck every year. That's why they've never they've made it but never won.
Jersey,
so
right?
there you go.
New Jersey
so
Nets.
Repeat the 5.
I love that game.
To Brooklyn.
Yeah. The New Jersey Nets, yeah. So the 5 who have made it but never won: Brooklyn Nets, Orlando Magic, Phoenix Suns, Utah Jazz, Indiana Pacers. The 5 who have never made the finals at all: the Hornets, the Clippers, the Grizzlies, the T-Wolves, and the Pelicans. T-Wolves could change that, and the Pacers could change theirs.
Let's go.
Let's do it. All right,
that's fun, Bierman.
Guys, next week I got another good one. I'm not giving any hints, but next week I got a great one. All right. Yeah, that was fun. All right, guys. So let's, now that Be Our Guest is over, let's get into hot takes. Yes, that's right. It's time for C&Me and Sports Hot Takes, brought to you by Mike's Hot Honey. The honey's so hot, it was just confirmed it will be starring opposite Nicole Kidman in Baby Girl 2. Whether you like it a little raunchy or want to keep it clean, you'll love Mike's Hot Honey. So grab a bottle today at mikeshothoney.com or go to the honey aisle at your local grocery store, and you are welcome. All right, Pat, start us off.
Minnesota teams are doing well. They're on a heater. The Twins won 8 in a row, and they're playing woeful Baltimore Orioles in another series today, and doubleheader today. Timberwolves are looking amazing. I mean, if you haven't checked in on Anthony Edwards, that guy is something special.
Dude, they're fun. I love them.
You got, and the bas.
Do you ever go to any games?
Get to like one
Pat,
a year.
Do you ever go to any T-Wolves games?
About one a year. And I was there the first year in the Metrodome.
I've never been there.
We used to play in the Metrodome.
It's a cool arena.
Like our first year, 1989. That was
that
was gross. I mean, you sat so far up in the rafters, and then you need binoculars to see the court where we had tickets back then. But yeah, some good basketball upsets. You got the Knicks and the Pacers, right? Hockey playoffs are rolling.
Yeah.
Jalen Brunson. Man.
Knicks Pacers. They got to bring back Reggie Miller and Spike Lee. They should be sitting right next to each other.
I was hoping that the Celtics would get knocked. It's unfortunate what happened to Tatum, but it was. I didn't want to see the Celtics win again.
Yeah.
Hockey playoffs are rolling along. Oilers are playing really good hockey right now. Last year they got to the finals, but it was such a grind, and I think this year they paced themselves a little better and they're starting to hit their peak. So good hockey. Oilers are looking great. Dallas Stars, I'm not going to root for the Stars because they took our local hockey team years ago, and they tend to take our favorite players, like former Wild star Mikael Granlund just scored a couple goals the other night and contributed. So I'm hoping the Stars lose. But I got sick of watching sports this weekend, so I started the show Succession on Max. So I got locked in there.
So good.
I've not.
It's so good.
Is it good?
Dysfunctional rich family.
I loved it.
Better. So, but yeah, I'm excited for this weekend. Lots of good golf, hopefully. Can't wait to get to it tomorrow. So, what about you, Bill?
Yeah, bring on your thunderstorm so you can get some PGA Championship watching in. Don't have to work. That's awesome. Pat touched on a bunch of good ones. I was going to mention the Twins 8-game heater. That's cool to see. I think if I remember right, they might have been. I took the total stretch crazy pick for the AL Central winner was Twins. So good to see them get back in the mix.
I took the Twins on their over. I think a 4 baseball, 3 baseball.
Pretty good.
Yeah,
I
can't remember both.
Pretty good right now.
Yeah.
I definitely picked the Twins to win. In our picks in the division, I picked the Twins to win. No, I don't know. I would not have picked the Tigers. I would not have picked the Tigers.
Okay, because I thought we had gone kind of 3 separate ways there because it was Guardians.
I've got it. Hold on.
Tigers,
it's right here, actually.
Twins. Maybe I took the Tigers.
I picked the Tigers.
No. Yeah. Pat picked the Tigers. Bill, you did pick the Twins. I'm sorry. I picked the Royals.
Royals. Okay, that was a stretch. None of us on the Guardians. Wow. Okay. Anyway, good to see the Twins. I just, for whatever reason, they're been my favorite team through the years. It's not the Mariners in baseball. So love that organization. Good to see them get hot. Please no Oklahoma City. Just please. Just don't, you guys. I will continue to say this.
I love that, dude. I've been rooting for Denver for you, man. I have.
And they were right there in Game 5.
I know.
Right there. And then it just fell apart in the last minute.
If they get past, if Thunder wins this, they're not losing. I hope they lose to T-Wolves, but I don't think they're going to lose.
That's where I was going, though, is that, and Pat's wearing the hat, and just please, 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 Timberwolves, stay healthy. Just get through this series. Just beat Oklahoma City. I'm worried now because the East, I thought, had some formidable opponents that could probably give them a run with the Cavs and the Celtics. And then both of those teams, lose. So anyway, we'll see. Jalen Brunson, that kid is just so fun to watch. How he does it with that, with his body size and athleticism. I think I talked about it last week. But that has been a little fun to get into some playoff hoops. I was going to ask you guys a trivia question. I think we've actually talked about this before, but when was the last time a Canadian team won Lord Stanley's Cup?
It was the Canadians in 1991. No, 93.
Close. 93. Yeah, nice job. So, I mean, think about that.
That's crazy, dude.
Insane. And so Pat mentioned the Oilers. Winnipeg looks like they're struggling to advance, but Toronto's right there in that series. So, I think it would actually be kind of cool, like have a Canadian franchise hoist the cup again. And then Eric mentioned it as well. M's get swept in Toronto. Is it coincidence that I threw out the 9 straight series with the emoji of the flaming 9, and they lose 3 in a row, then 4 in a row because they lost to New York? No, it's not. I jinxed them.
I remember.
I apologize.
You mentioned that when we talked about superstitions.
I'm an idiot.
Don't speak it into existence.
Yep.
And Bill,
it's my fault.
When you say it, and then you immediately say, "I think I just jinxed them."
I know, and I just should know better. But I get excited about my team, and then it's like, how many times can you do the same thing throughout your life? Hundreds, in my case, apparently. So. Eric did try to right the ship with the 6-pack, and then they did win a 2-1 thriller against the Yankees last night. I don't know if your teams have played the Yankees yet, but I mean, I'm not going to say it's murderer's row, but you just look up and down that lineup and it's just insane. Every guy, they just trot out another guy that's like, oh, this guy's got over 10 home runs. This guy's hitting 470, Aaron Judge. Every time the guy steps up, you're petrified. Like, just walk the guy. And huge at bat last night. Matt Brash, one of the Mariners' best relievers, comes in. Total high leverage situation late in the game and just strikes Judge out, 3 straight sliders. Crowd goes nuts. It was a cool moment early in a baseball season. But anyway, I mentioned this at the very beginning. I can't remember if we were recording yet, but I am so excited about the PGA Championship this week. Get all these guys together, playing in an event. You got guys playing out of their minds. I know we're going to talk about it a little bit later, so I'll hold off. But just so excited about it. Can't wait for tomorrow.
Yeah.
So, Bierman, how about you, bud?
Yeah, so this isn't Sports Hot Take, but you just made me think of something. Mike Paston did a great job again. Thank you, Mike, for coming on last week, and we'll have to get you back on. And he said he wants to come back on and talk a little bit about his strategy of betting exact score parlays on games. And we talked about this early on, like episode 4 or 5, about how he will take a parlay of a team, baseball, Mariners, whatever, playing Brewers 2-1. Or 3-2 or 4-3. And he's got a reason why he picks the scores he does. He looks at the over-under, all that. And he has had a lot of success with that. So I'm telling a buddy of mine at a party on Friday night about it. He texts me I think it was yesterday morning, texts me the screenshot. And all it says was the Padres were up 4-3 going into the bottom of the 8th. He already had one game won at the exact score, and he had the Padres winning 4-3, and it was 4-3 going into the bottom of the 8th. They scored a run, and then the Angels actually scored a ton of runs, so it ended up 10-5 or 10-6. But it was a $5 bet that would have paid more than $1,000. Like it was a lot. And it was just like, I don't know. It just got me. I've never placed an exact score bet in my life, but I thought it was cool that this buddy of mine took that advice and almost won. So fingers crossed, maybe he'll try again and hit, because I know Paston's won. He's hit a lot of those.
Yeah, we need to get his system.
Yeah, we do.
Put it on the site.
So all right, a couple of my hot takes. I'm going to start with something that I think everyone loves to complain about, including myself. And that's the NIL, and it's talking about, we talk about how it's ruining college sports, but could it actually be saving a part of college basketball? Could it, guys? Could it? Well, let me explain why I think it might be. According to the NBA, only 106 players entered the 2025 NBA draft. That's the lowest number of early entrants since 2015. And a massive drop from the 363, more than 3 times the amount this year, who declared back in 2018, which was right before NIL era began. So what does that tell us? To me, it's simple. Players don't have to leave early just to chase a paycheck anymore. Thanks to NIL, they can stay in school, get paid, continue to develop without trying to take a chance at the pros or sitting on long bus rides in the G League. And personally, I kind of like that part. It means more talent stays on campus longer, more familiar faces in March, better basketball during the regular season, stronger rivalries, deeper teams. It's really good for the game. It makes being a college basketball fan much more fun.
I like
I still
as
don't
long
like
as they don't
NIL,
make it like a transfer portal like football. If someone's gonna stay, let's have them stay at the same.
So that's literally what I was gonna close with. I still don't like NIL. I'm good with it, but can we please do something about the transfer portal? That's the thing I have a bigger problem with right now. Yeah, totally agree, Pat. Totally agree. All right, and then guys, you knew this was coming. He's in.
We left it for you.
He's in 13,030 days. That's how long it took for baseball to finally get it right. After 35 years in baseball purgatory and 226 days after he passed away, Pete Rose is finally eligible for Hall of Fame consideration. And yes, I've done a hot take on this in the past on this very podcast, but it's coming back, boys, so get ready. I don't care if you love him, hate the fact that it was a gambling scandal. Guys, that gambling scandal happened. It's older than 80% of the league's current roster. Get over it. It's about time. The Hit King is back in play. I said it before. I will again. The Hall of Fame, it's not the Vatican, guys. It's not a shrine to perfect moral character. It's where the best to ever play the game of baseball get honored. Not necessarily the game of life, not necessarily the game of being a great citizen. It's the game of baseball. You can't tell the story of baseball without Pete Rose. He is baseball. Yeah, he's flawed. He's fiery, but he's unforgettable. And finally, he will be enshrined. And hopefully others like him too, such as Shoeless Joe and many others. So let's just say it. Pete Rose is the greatest hitter in Major League Baseball history. And now that he's eligible, let's start booking our rooms for Cooperstown in 2028 because it's happening, baby. And this Cincinnati guy could not be happier. Skyline is on me tonight, boys. Let's dig in.
Sounds good.
Yeah, congrats, Bierman.
Thanks, man. Yeah,
Congrats.
I'm thrilled. Cincinnati is thrilled, and I don't think I'll go to Cooperstown for it, but I know many people who will make the trek. It'll be crazy.
Yeah. Do you think they start letting in all the steroid guys now?
I do, and that to me is different. That is a little different. That makes me a little sad, but I do think they will.
Yeah, be interesting to see. Cool for the city, though.
Yeah,
and his family, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, I do wish it would have happened before he died. I hate this posthumous stuff, but it's better than not happening at all. So, all right, guys. Well, Bill talked about it. I am so stoked for the PGA Championship as well. So let's get into our Stone Cold locks and see who we like in the second major of the season. We're headed to Quail Hollow in Charlotte, which, by the way, did you guys hear how golfer Hunter Mahan explained the course? Did you guys hear that?
What was his comment?
I loved it. It was classic. He said, I quote, "I guess I would say Quail Hollow is like a Kardashian.
Yeah.
It's very modern, beautiful, and well-kept, but it lacks a soul or character." Ouch.
Yeah. Wow.
Probably all true, though.
Yeah.
Probably all true. So, all right. Hey, before we get into this week's picks, let's see how we did last week. All of us got points last week. I think that's might be the first time, maybe second time that we've done that. So nice job, fellas. Now, I will say Mike Paston, he had Corey Connors and Xander, who both finished 11th. So
yeah. Ouch.
Close, but no cigar, Mike. No cigar. But Pat did the best because he got 3 for his dark horse, Cameron Young, baby. That was nice. That was really nice. So nice job. Bill got 1 for Rory. I got 1 for Patrick Cantley. So listen to these new standings, guys. It is tight. Pat and myself are tied for first place with 11 points each, and Bill is right there with 8 points. So
and that means Scotty's available.
Right? Yeah, Scotty is available for you, bastard.
Yes.
You bastard.
See how I manage that, boys? Manage it.
Yeah,
duck and weave.
Exactly. Yeah.
Strategery.
Strategery at its best. All right. Well, let's get into it. Just a reminder to our listeners, we will pick each 3 golfers who we believe will finish top 10 this week. 2 can be any players we want, but the third must be a dark horse with plus 10,000 odds or worse. All right, Pat.
I stopped watching
start us off, brother.
That tournament because I was rooting for Cantlay too, and he got like a bogey on 18. I was like, I'm done. And I didn't even know Cameron Young snuck in there. So that's nice. Good for him because Young was in there a little bit early and then he kind of faded. I didn't know he came back. So that's good.
Great.
All right. My locks. All right. You know, can I pick Rory? I mean, that's getting greedy here, but look, he's played so well at Quail Hollow over the years.
Yes, of course you can.
I can't
pick
see
Rory.
anyone else coming through here. And he's just got so much confidence. You know, I have a sneaky suspicion about a couple of the live guys. But give me Rory for my number 1 with a bullet.
I just have to, I know this isn't the segment to do this, but I just got to do it real quick. I got to ask Bill your opinion. In the Calcutta tonight.
Yeah.
Who do you think's going to go? Who do you think's going to go? Who do you think's going to be the highest pay? Do you think it'll be Scotty, or do you think it could be Rory?
It could be Bryson.
He gets a lot of love.
I mean,
really?
Yeah. I mean, he's he gets a lot of love. I think it's crazy. I saw, and this is a quick tangent, but I saw on another pod that I watch, awesome one that covers golf. They were saying that across a different site that hosts pools, that in a one and done format, meaning you can only pick a golfer once, Bryson DeChambeau was getting picked 50% of the time. The next closest was Scotty and Rory, and they were right around 17% each. I understand live and you can't pick Bryson every tournament, so that's a big factor. But that was incredible. They're talking about 3 million people playing on this website. That's incredible. So anyway, to answer your question in a roundabout way, Eric, I think it's going to be Scotty.
You think it's going to be Scotty or Bryson? Got it.
Yeah, but Rory wouldn't surprise me if it's Rory, obviously. So, and Pat, you should feel bad about taking Rory.
Yeah. It's an obvious one.
I'm just telling you, Pat. I'm just telling you right now. I'm taking Rory too.
So, me too.
So don't feel bad at all. Won at Quail Hollow. He's one of. He
never loses at this place. He doesn't lose. Yeah. That's why I'm saying. I don't know if I'd put my money on Scotty above Rory. Just on this one. He's great at this course. But.
One thing that does kind of scare me about these big hitters is that a lot of rain. They're not able to mow the rough over the next couple of days, so it's going to be long. It's going to be, if you're not hitting fairways, you're going to be in a little bit of trouble. So driving accuracy might be key. But anyway, my second player, I got Patrick Cantlay here. I was kind of pulling for him last week. I had him in a separate pool, and he was close. He had a pretty good tournament. I feel like right now he's definitely likely to be in top 10s in a lot of tournaments that he's playing in. Whether or not he's going to win, that's a different story. He's just historically can't put it together, but he's playing well right now. Could this be the tournament for Cantlay? So give me Cantlay, Rory, and then my long shot. I'm going with a live guy, someone that's been off the radar for a while, but DJ. DJ's 150 to 1. He has not performed well lately, especially in majors for a while, but this course is going to play long. You got to be able to bomb it here. So, and he can bomb it.
Bomber.
I just got a sneaky hunch here. Wouldn't it be just like DJ
cool
to just kind of ho-hum, come in and win? He's from I think he's from that area too, right? He's from down south there. And I almost went with Denny McCarthy,
Carolinas,
just because I figured I need someone who can putt the ball. But give me DJ. I'd love to see a DJ revival. So
me too. That would be fun. Yeah, that would be fun. All those picks. I don't know if you guys had to say how many people in your mind's eye right now today, Wednesday, as we record right before it starts tomorrow. How many people can win this? I had
like 25 tournament? Guys. I couldn't even narrow it down. I do. I really?
feel like
there's a lot of guys.
Okay. Okay. I was thinking less
Pat.
than 10. Really? Okay.
I think a lot.
I love that. If you guys are right. Yeah. I love that. But I always kind of just kept getting back to these same like 7-8 guys.
The majors pool. I'm in that majors
Cantlay
pool.
Definitely was one of those.
Tough. Just picking 4, having to whittle that down to 4.
It is. And also too, through the years, the strategy there is so fascinating because people try not to pick multiple guys that they think are going to win in one tournament because, your money difference between first place and third place, let's say, it makes a huge difference if you could save him to win the US Open or save him to win the British Open. So anyway, fascinating. But yeah, that is a really fun pool. I don't need to talk much about Rory. You guys obviously love him too. 4 wins at Quail. I love how high he hits the ball. I love how far he hits the ball. I love how he drives the ball. The guy's just horse for the course, and he's just arguably the best player in the world at the moment, even though Scotty's number 1. And then I got to take advantage of my Scotty rule allowance. So I'm calling this segment, by the way, Stone Cold Chalks this week instead of Stone Cold Locks.
I love it.
So I got Rory and Scotty. Rory's at plus 475. Scotty's at plus 450. And then my long shot, boy, I struggled with this one, you guys. I went back and forth on a few different guys. I'm just fascinated to hear who Bierman's going to pick. But I went with Kashmir Keith Mitchell at plus 12,500. And here's why. And you guys have heard me talk a lot about this, but his form of late has been stellar. last 5 tournaments, T18, T12, T2, T18, T7. So, the guy's just been right there in the last 5 golf tournaments he's played. If he can just stay consistent over the weekend, the dude seems to fire, just gets hot right out of the gate and throws down on Thursday and Friday and then struggles a little bit more on the weekend. But give me Kashmir Keith as my long shot this week.
Nice. So gotta shout out your Crush and Fade, man. Love that series.
Nice, thanks.
Read it every week. It's phenomenal.
I've been
And
hot.
you have been, and sometimes I don't agree with you, and I go opposite. And it paid off. I picked Spieth, I think, a few weeks ago when you were
faded Spieth.
Fading him.
Yeah,
but this last one did. I agree with almost everything you wrote in it, including Rory. I love Rory, so we're gonna take him. I mean, the guy, he finished top 10 last week. He won the Masters. He's just had a great year. So we'll go with him. For my second, I'm going to go a little off the beaten path here. A guy we really don't talk about at all on here. And he's a live guy, and I don't like live guys, but I'm going to go with Joaquin Niemann here. I just have
say Rahm.
No, I have a feeling here. He's had, I don't know if most people know because they don't follow the live, but he's had an incredible start to the year. He's won 3 times already on the live tour, which is very impressive. He has not done particularly well in majors. His best performance was a 16th place at the 23 Masters. For the PGA Championship, his best was 23rd. Excuse me. His best was 23rd back in 2022. But I've been having some luck with my gut the past few weeks, so we're gonna go with the Stormin' Chilean. That's what we're gonna call him on this one. So
I like it.
And he's a plus 3,000 to win, 500 top 5, plus 250 for top 10. So, and then for my dark horse, there were a lot of big names eligible to be picked as long shots this week. A lot. Like Cameron Smith was on that, and I'm like, what the hell? Like, guy's a good golfer, but I didn't go with him. I went with a guy that I've actually picked before on this. He's just had a really solid year. I'm going with Daniel Berger. He's healed from injury that sidelined him for a long time, the last year and a half. He's played well this year. He's 9th in total strokes gained. I like seeing that. He's finished in the top 10 in 3 of the 4 majors in the past. The PGA, ironically, is the one exception. He finished 12th here. That was his best finish back in 2018. But I'm just feeling that he's going to get his top 10 here in the PGA this year. So book it. The Stormin' Berger is gonna win.
Berger.
There you go. All right. Well, guys, it is now time to go into our top 5. And this week, it is all about the moms. I hope your wives and your mothers had a great Mother's Day, and hopefully they felt pampered. I know Jamie, my wife, had a great weekend here. We also celebrated our wedding anniversary yesterday, too.
Yeah, congrats.
So happy anniversary, sweetie. That was a lot of fun. But today we are going to honor... No, most people didn't. Neither did she. But today, we're going to honor the TV moms. It is all about our favorite TV moms of all time. This can be any criteria you want to use. They could have been on sitcoms, dramas, cartoons, could be recent, could be back in the 50s, could be because they were hot or because they just seemed awesome. Whatever reason you have is fine. With us, the only rule is they have to have been a mom on some sort of TV show. All right, Pat, kick us off. Number 5 and 4.
I just thought back to what shows I watched when I was a kid, and 2 immediately came to mind. The first one is Elise Keaton, played by Meredith Baxter, formerly Meredith Baxter Burney, I think.
Nice.
Yeah. Family
I
Ties, right?
Her.
A show
she
we
was
watched quite a bit.
for
Alex
sure.
P. Keaton and his 2 sisters were always getting into some kind of pickle. And, she was some teenage issues, and dad was kind of dopey. He wasn't much help. So she was a strong maternal figure. So I'll go with Elise Keaton for the first one. And then Claire Huxtable, Felicia Rashad, It was a show we watched quite a bit growing up as well, and she's a strong female figure as well, which in the 80s started to come. She was probably like the first mom in a sitcom that was not like just a stay-at-home housewife, traditional. She was a lawyer. She was strong, progressive, smart. She married a Minnesota Viking in real life, so that's good. And
Yeah.
and
Oregon Ducks.
So she's not
she
perfect.
had to put up with Bill Cosby. Who knew? So who knew?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but
sorry, Paston.
yeah,
I know.
that's my 5 and 4.
Temple grad. That's so classic because I think for the first time in 39 episodes, I have the exact 5 and 4 for my TV moms.
Bill just didn't prepare.
At least
Bill was going to say that no matter who I picked. He didn't prepare.
Wow.
He forgot all about
whatever
it.
Pat says, I'm going with it. Whatever Pat says.
Yeah.
God, I'm glad Pat goes first. It's so great.
Wow.
No,
that's shocking,
I got Elise Keaton. I love too that he shouted out Alex P. Keaton, who I had written down in my notes. Just a great mom of the 80s. And then Claire Huxtable, and he said everything. She was poised, she was smart, she was present. I know she was an attorney. She dealt with Bill. Like I have all these things in my notes as well. So real quick and easy on my 5 and 4.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That is a first.
In that order as well.
Yeah, I know.
Which is crazy. Amazing. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this is not gonna shock you at all, but for my number 5, I'm actually going a twofer. I could not separate these two guys. These two are too similar. So they actually looked alike as well. But I'm gonna go with the 70s duo of mom greatness with Carol Brady and Shirley Partridge. I love both of these. I'll start with Carol Brady. I mean, before divorce was mainstream, Carol was like the ultimate stepmom. She had 6 freaking kids she had to handle, a live-in housekeeper. She even made room for cousin Oliver in later seasons, and nobody wanted that guy. She never picked favorites, even though she had 3 of her own kids and 3 stepkids. She always looked good. She somehow kept that house running well. And yes, she did have Alice to help, but let's face it, Alice spent a lot of time with Sam the Butcher in later seasons. So, Carol had to step in. Always liked Carol Brady, always liked the Brady Bunch. All right, Shirley Partridge probably was even hotter, actually.
I can't picture.
I gotta look her up. She was frankly a total badass, single mom, touring the country with her kids in a groovy school bus in the early 70s. Motherly wisdom constantly, and hit songs. I mean, she was awesome. And she worked hard to keep Danny Bonaducci from turning into a criminal. So that's pretty worthy work as a mother right there. All right, number 4. This is the only animated mom on this list. Quite possibly. Shut up. Quite possibly the hottest too. Now, guys,
where he's going.
I know
exactly where he's going.
Everyone talks. No, you don't. There is no way you know where I'm going. You write down. I want you to write down who you think I'm going to say, and then you should.
Mine. I promise
you can each have
I'm
a
not
guess.
Making it up.
Yeah, there is no way. There is no way you are gonna. I will be impressed if you guess. All right. I am going with. Everyone talks about frickin' George Jetson. No, we're going with Jane Jetson.
She was something.
Damn it.
Nah.
I thought I was on it.
Not Wilma.
When you started with...
guys, come on. Everyone, no, we're not going with frickin' Wilma, guys. It's frickin' Jane Jetson. His wife, first of all, he had to deal with George. George was an idiot. I mean, she deserves some credit. She ran a household in the sky. She managed 2 kids, a talking dog, a robot maid. Somehow she still had time to hit that futuristic mall. Let's just say, I mean, growing up and watching the Jetsons, there was certainly more than one occasion when I thought to myself, that Elroy is one frickin' lucky bastard. I'm just saying. So she was stylish. She was smart, literally decades ahead of her time. So, and she could have whooped Wilma any day of the week blindfolded. So give me Jane Jetson as my number 4.
Solid. Didn't think of her.
Nobody does. Nobody. She's the forgotten TV mom of our generation, and it pisses me off, Bill. It's about time Jane Jetson gets some credit. Damn it.
My number 3 is who I thought you were going to go with, and that's Tammy Taylor, played by Connie Britton, Friday Night Lights. Hey y'all.
She's cute.
She's cute in that show, and just made you want to come. She's made you want to come over for supper. You know, so give me Tammy Taylor. She was good. And then how about Carmela Soprano, played by Edie Falco? Talk about pressure being married.
Please tell me he didn't just do your number 3 and 2.
Talk about pressure being married to Tony Soprano. The only one that could speak to him like that with a sharp tongue and not get whacked. She was pretty good in that show. So Carmela Soprano was my number 2. Bill, was that exact 3 and 2?
Awesome. Yeah. Well, no, I did not go with the Friday Night Lights. Honestly, I never watched that show, and I've heard that it was good.
Wow, I'm surprised. It was good. It was decent. It wasn't my favorite, but it was decent.
Yeah, so I don't know the first mom that you mentioned there as your number 3, but yeah, I have Carmela Soprano as my number 3. And again, Pat mentioned it. One of the things I loved about her is I wouldn't say that she was like the greatest mom, in terms of like role model moms, but dealing with Tony and just that character, the complexity and all that. And then Edie Falco was just so good playing her. Yeah. So that was kind of where I went with that one. My number 2 was actually Moira Rose. It's Catherine O'Hara is the actress from Schitt's Creek.
Oh, from Schitt's Creek, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys are watching. Again, not a model mom at all by any means. Totally self-absorbed, but hilarious. And I thought over the show's kind of story arc, over multiple seasons, she kind of found her footing as a better mom. Early on, I think they kind of positioned her to be sort of, aloof and not give a crap about her kids. But I really felt like her, crazy outfits, the quirks, all the different parts of her. She was a great character, super funny. And Catherine O'Hara is pretty great as an actress in everything she does. So that was my 3 and 2.
Awesome. So, for my number 3, there were a lot of 80s sitcom moms I could have went with here. Thought about Claire Huxtable, thought of Angela Bauer of Who's the Boss, Elise Keaton of Family Ties, all great ones. But I'm going to go with Maggie Seaver.
She was like my number 6
of Growing Pains.
Maggie Seaver.
Oh.
Yeah. She was so... I mean, she was super smart. She was steady. She was always handling messes from her kids or her husband. But like what you said with Claire Huxtable, she was she was ahead of her time. I mean, she was a working mom. She was a journalist, I think, raising kids, crushing it at work and at home. So I just always thought that was cool. She was calm. She was sharp. She was able to handle the rebellious, troublemaking Mike Seaver. But she just balanced career and family so well. I just always liked her. And she had those 80s shoulder pads that she always made look good. So you got to give her bonus points for that. So, all right. And then my number 2, this is one of my all-time favorites. I love this woman. I love this mother. I am going with Marie Barone of Everybody Loves Raymond. This woman, I mean, she is the queen of overbearing moms. She micromanages everything. She has the nicest insults in the world. She makes you feel guilty for just being born. But it's all out of place of love. Maybe a twisted, obsessive kind of love, but still love. And I have been told more than once that my own mom is basically Marie, and I could deny it, but I'd be lying. My own mom, it is exactly like Marie. Now, I pray that this episode 39 is not the first time that my 89-year-old mother decides to listen to our pod, because she would probably not be happy. But she and my mom is not this case, but the other thing about Marie, she is like every daughter-in-law's worst nightmare. How would you? You would never want that woman as your mother-in-law. So, anyways, going with Marie Barone. Everybody Loves Raymond is my number 2.
All right, number one, I went with Marge Bouvier Simpson. Married to Homer Simpson. I figure.
I
Yeah, that's
figured
pretty
somebody
simple
would have
one,
that
but
one.
I almost forgive her for almost having an affair with a bowling coach because all the stuff she has to put up with.
I think Bill and I are both in this. So
You
I
guys
think
didn't watch
Bill's
a
in
lot
the
of
same boat
Simpsons.
as me.
Yeah, you
I've never
mentioned that when we
seen
were talking
1
about it
second
earlier.
of The
But
Simpsons.
yeah, so I'll
No,
make
I
it
didn't
quick,
watch
but
any
I'd
of
say
it.
Marge
Yeah.
Simpson,
Yeah.
number one. Bill?
All right.
I know Bill didn't. I know we don't have a.
It's funny. I was on mute. Sorry. I was
I know
coughing.
we don't have a match on this one. Yeah.
No, not Marge. I didn't go with it. Yeah, I was happy that you went with Marge. She's a legend, I was saying. So yeah, not a huge Simpsons guy, but understandable that she'd be number one. My number one is Caitlin Stark, played by Michelle Fairley from the Game of Thrones, and just absolute
Wow.
badass. Were you guys Game of Thrones guys? Did
That's my
you
next.
read the
No,
books
That's my
I
or
never
next
watch?
finished
watch.
it. I
That's my
watched
next one I'm gonna
like the
watch.
first season or two. Yeah, I might have to pick it back up again.
Okay,
I
I'll take it
enjoyed
easy
what
on
I
the
She
watched.
dies.
spoilers as well,
Hmm.
Pat, if you haven't watched it. But yeah,
I don't know.
no, I'm not going to tell you anything about that. But the thing that I just loved about Caitlin Stark and the character is, I mean, she just absolutely cared so deeply about her family, and it just kind of resonates throughout everything that she does in the show. Um, she's affectionate, she's loving, she drops sage advice all the time. Um, and Pat, I'll just say that it this way, I guess, if more family members had listened to her, she told Ned, "Don't go to King's Landing." Okay, so I'll just drop that one in there. And anyway, she's just a great character all up, and so many characters in that show. I'm excited for you to watch it, even though it kind of gets lame at the last season or two. But just so many great characters, and Caitlin Stark's one of the best. So she was my number one.
Awesome.
Dearman, what you got for your top one?
Yeah, I love this one. This one's nostalgic. Goes back to my days watching the show as a kid in 70s and early 80s.
Wilma
I am
Flintstone.
going with Mrs. C. Marion Cunningham from Happy Days. She had heart of gold, an apron that was always spotless, warm, loyal, no nonsense. She dealt with her hardware store schlub husband. She raised Richie right. Guys, she took in a leather jacketed drifter with a motorcycle and took him in just like a son. That is love. That is being a great mom. Yeah, now she did lose a son, Rip Chuck, gone but not forgotten, or ever mentioned again after the first season. But we're not going to hold that against her. She stayed rock solid, loyal to her family, even when Fonzie was an idiot and ruined the entire show by jumping over that shark. So, Marianne, cheers to you. You're the blueprint. My number one forever. Love you, Mrs. C.
And do you have a part B? Do you have a part
Great
B?
one.
All right, boys. No, I don't. Don't
So
be a jackass, Pat.
What are you going to do? Hop on a plane and come over and kick my ass? By then you'll have cooled down a little bit. Yeah.
I'll forgive you. Exactly. Oh shit. All right. Before we wrap things up, Bill, what do we have from a pool side coming up that we want to share?
Well, you guys will, when you're listening to this, watching this, the PGA Championship will be rolling. So hopefully you're enjoying that. And don't worry about any of those pools. They've already started, so don't worry about those. But we do have a fun new one that's launching Friday, the 16th, and it's called MLB Beat the Streak. And we're really excited about this new format.
What is this? I haven't even heard of this one.
Yeah, we got some. There's an MLB app that has played this game in the past. I've run the pool kind of just using that platform, but we decided to build our own. We've got slightly different rule variations, but just think of it like, hey, I'm going to go try to beat Joe DiMaggio's 56 game hit streak, right? If you pick a player and they get a hit, your streak continues to the next day. If they don't get a hit, you're out. Or, well, you're not out, but you just go back to zero. And then we decided, instead of having it run for the whole season, which is long, we're just going to break it into a couple chunks per month. So the way that it'll work is 75% of the prize pot will go to the person that garners the longest streak in that 2-ish week session. And then the 25% will go to the person with the longest active streak after the last day of the session.
And so it's just picking a different player each day to get a hit.
You can pick Aaron Judge every day if you want to pick Aaron Judge. You can you can pick the same player. So yeah.
But they just gotta get one hit.
Yeah, and if they don't record any plate appearances, then your streak isn't broken. Like if the manager sits your guy because maybe it's a platoon and he's sitting out that day, or whatever the reason. But if they record a plate appearance or more, they have to get a hit, and that's the way that you'll keep your streak alive.
That's really cool.
Yeah, $25. Not expensive. I think it's fun. We already got a nice little turnout brewing, so just drop in there and check it out. It's optional to make a pick every day, so you can also pick days in advance. You can pick 4, 5, 6, 7 days in advance if you want. We allow you to do that. So it's not quite set it and forget it, but it's one of those pools that you don't have a ton of stuff that you got to think about and do. Just go in and make a pick. One guy, if they get a hit, keep your streak rolling. It's actually a very hard pool. Back in the day, the longest pool that we ever had when we did it for the course of a whole season was 20 something. That was the farthest anybody ever got. So
that seems really hard to do.
Yeah,
seems
really difficult. Yeah. So anyway, that's the only big pool update that we have. But looking forward to all you guys jumping in and checking that one out.
Awesome. That sounds cool. All right, CMA Nation, it has been another fantastic show, and I hate to say it, but sadly, it is time to exit Sandman Sports. Real quick, a few reminders where to find us. Please follow us, like us, subscribe to us, spread the word. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and our website, entersandmansports.com, which, by the way, I failed to mention the open. We have not completely, but we've updated, refreshed the website, much easier to navigate, organized in a little bit better structure. Very, very cool. So be sure to check it out as well. I think you'll like it and be impressed. So, all right, that's all I got. Have a great weekend, CMA Nation. Peace out. Take care. See you next week.
Good luck, everybody.